No issues, right? Yeah, no issues, right? So let's continue. Okay, so simple. What is the simple concept about this? Now we have a society, and that society has resources, and these resources are with powerful people, and there lacks equality. Inequality will be there, harmony won't be there, there'll be fights among the people. And what would happen is, won't that cause injustice? So what should we do this? What should we do for such a scenario? So for such scenario, what should we do? A simple concept. All of us, all the stakeholders of the society should come forward, right? All the stakeholders of the society should come forward, and they should come out with a common rules, common rules, regulations, right? All these people who are the stakeholders of society, they should come out with a common rules, common regulations, which fulfill aspirations of all the citizens, all the participants, right? So when we do this, we create a common platform where we can discuss common rules and regulations, where we through that we can fulfill all the aspirations of the participants and stakeholders. Won't now my society will be in harmony? Now, won't my society tend to be in harmony? Yes. Yes. So, to have a harmonious society, so that there is no discrimination for any stakeholders of the society, so that there are equal distribution of resources and equal distribution of work, equal distribution of perks, pleasures, happiness, all these things are supposed to be there in a society, right? So when it is like this, we need to have that in a written form. We should tend to have those things in a written form, right? Or we should document those things so that those rules and regulations, you keep it for yourself, you follow them, and you can send it for the next generations so that they understand it. So we need to document those rules and regulations. We need to document all the facilities or resources, how the distribution should happen, right? So we need to do this thing, documentation. But remember one more concept I'll be starting. The next concept which I'll be telling is, this documentation should have a background, right? Yes, this documentation should have a background. How does documentation background works? So let's start another topic. Now, when I'm giving rules and regulation, for who these rules and regulations should be? For who these rules and regulations should be? For everybody, for every citizen, or for every person in the society, or every individual in the society, right? For these people, we should have rules and regulations. Rules and regulations. Now, we know we should have rules and regulations, but I'll ask you, who should do those rules and regulations? Who should do this? Okay, if there is a family, in a family, let's take in a family, there'll be 5 members. So these 5 members can set a rules and regulations, right? These 5 people can sit together and set a rules and regulation. Why? Because the population is less. Because the population is less, that's why we can do this concept. But what if population is huge? That too, like huge, like India, like we have 132 billion people. Can all of us come together, sit, and come out with an aspiration and show that we need these rules, these regulations. Can they ever do something like this? No, right? It will be tough. So what we will do is we will designate this work. We will designate this work to some other people who does rules and regulation, who does rules and regulations. So we can't do together. So what we do, we designate this to some people who can do this rules and regulations. Simple concept. So when it is like this, one more thing starts. What is this? People who have ability to do work or ability to do rules, won't they misuse these rules? Won't they misuse this power again? So what should we do? Okay, now I have designated few people to do rules, to formulate rules, to regulate people, to administer people, but I should make sure one simple concept that they don't misuse this power, So what should I do for that? So I should give a brief guidelines on which they can I can give a brief guidelines on which they can work, or can I give them a blueprint, or can I give them a framework telling that these are your powers, these are not your powers. You should be limited in these things. So I'm giving you powers so that you can administrate us, so that you can take care of the rules and regulation, come out with new laws for my betterment, right? So I'm giving you this power. So for that, I should set up a proper guidelines. I set up a proper guidelines here. Now I've set up a proper guidelines. After setting up a proper guidelines, next thing what matters is very important concept. Now guidelines are given for these people who are making rules. But what happens now is, in these guidelines, I should give one important thing. They should not only just make laws, they should make those laws or regulations or rules which gives citizens rights, or which makes citizens life peaceful, or which make citizens get their identity. Yes, should I do this? So when this guy is giving a brief guidelines, when this guy is giving, or some institution is giving a brief guidelines, in that guidelines they have guidelines to make laws, but we should be really careful that in those laws should give citizens rights, those laws should give citizens identity. Yes. So when it is like this, so we need to make laws, we need to make people who make laws, and we should give guidelines how to make laws, we should give guidelines how to administer, and we should give guidelines that they should not cross their limits while making laws, right? So many things are there. When so many complicated things are there, should we keep it as an oral thing, or should we keep it as a should we keep it as an oral thing, or we should keep it as a paper wise or something? No. See, even for a religion, you have seen those bookish religions like Christianity and Islam. They have a detailed guidelines how a religion should be. Same way, don't you think for a complete guidelines of all these things, we need to have a written book or a written document? So can I tell that written document which contains this complete framework as our constitution? Can we tell those written God documents which consists of all these things as a simple constitution? Clear? Agree? If you agree, you could say yes, or you have emojis or thumbs up things. If you have, you could press any of those things so that I can go further, so that it will be interactive. I'll know that you people are able to understand, so that I don't want to run away where you people are lagging behind and you can't understand. I don't want to do that. So till here we are right. Now next step happens. Now I'm giving you a broad understanding of your constitution. Clear? I'll be giving you a broad understanding of constitution. How many of you are well versed with constitution? You have read it once or gone through once, and at least NCRTs or something else I've gone through once or like that. How many of you have done this about constitution? Understood. So how many of you are well versed with constitution? So no problem if not well versed also. But what happens is, what we do when we're reading constitution, we'll directly tend to start with the Lakshmikant. Oh, so we have a wonderful reference book which is like a complete notes. So I'll read it and I'll finish it. I'll go answer in my prelims and I'll clear prelims. That is the mindset we have. But what happens is, this Lakshmikant is a wonderful document. No difference. But what we lack is understanding it. So should we understand Lakshmikant? Yes, definitely. So how can I understand Lakshmikant? Before understanding Lakshmikant, we should understand what is constitution, what is the framework in constitution, how it is going, what it will be doing. All these things we should understand, right? So if you have gone through constitution, you would have seen few things. Like I'll tell you, preamble will be there. Yes, you would have seen preamble. Then you would have seen parts in the constitution. You would have seen schedules in the constitution. You would have seen articles in the constitution. You would have seen sub-articles in the constitution. Right? All these things you have seen. But have you understood what is this framework? Why should we have a preamble? What is the concept of parts? What is the concept of schedules? What is the concept of articles? What is the concept of sub-articles? Right? We should think all these things also. No? We should understand before even starting any of these things. We should understand all these things also, right? Yes, that's very important thing. Today, I'll be giving you this background. If you have understood what is constitution, what it holds, I will be giving this background. On this background is what our complete polity model will move. So first background I want to teach you is our constitution has preamble. What do you think is preamble is? See, I'll teach you preamble. We need almost like 2 classes to understand preamble. But what I want to give you a brief understanding is, what is preamble for you? It's a 4-word, you may think. 4-word, or an introduction to our constitution. So what I will tell you is, preamble is essence of the constitution. Preamble is essence of the constitution. Clear? What is the essence of the constitution? Every article you read, right? Every article you read, you should have a background of the preamble. Background. What is the background of a preamble? Okay, I'll give you examples, you'll understand. Can you help me out? If you have any article which you want to know the background of that article, put it in conversation. I will give you few articles, okay? So now let me do like this. Article 19 is there. Any random article you want, you can put me. I'll explain you the background. Article 19 is there. So Article 19 talks about freedom. right? Article 19 talks about freedom. So what is the background for this Article 19 is your preamble. So how should be this Article 19 read? The freedom in Article 19, we should connect it to the preamble. How are we connecting it to the preamble? With a simple concept, right? What is that simple concept? What is there in preamble? Equality, right? We have equality, we have secularism, we have socialism, we have sovereignty, right? We have these things which are backing your preamble. So now how can I understand this Article 19 in a better way? I will tell you simple way. So now sovereignty is a part of my country, right? Sovereignty is part of my country, not just the country. Sovereignty is part of every citizen also. So when he's telling Article 19 clause A, under that right to movement or right to speech, right? They're talking about right to speech, right to movement. What does this mean? It means simple. I can speak with my own opinion, without influence of anybody, without influence of anybody. So you have sovereignty to speak whatever you want. Isn't that Article 19 clause 1 subclause clause A subclause 1 talks that only right to speech means you have sovereignty, that no need to depend on anybody for your own opinion, no need to depend on anybody, no need to get influenced by anybody, right? Isn't that what it meant? So if you read it alone, will you understand this concept of sovereignty plus right to right to speech? Understanding. People, you can make some gestures on. I think you can't make any gestures. At least type one letter. Yeah, y is yes. Okay, conversation. Or if you're new for this thing, where will be conversation, sir? Prajwal gives a thumbs up. Okay, yes. See what's happening now. There is a article. For that article, we have a background of preamble. You take any article, damn all 442 articles, I will give you the background of preamble. So you want to try a random article, any random article you want to try? Tell some random article which you want me to, okay, I'll only tell you. So what does 112 talk? Or let me do some concept. Your article 26, article 52. You want article 52 or you want fundamental rights 52A? Okay. Article 52A. Executives. So you want to start from president, okay? President. So let me start president articles. Amazing thing. Now president article is there. So let me start like this. So now what is president? That means head of state. We call him head of the state. Now, can I become head of the state? Can you become head of the state? Can anybody become head of the state irrespective of caste, religion? No restriction, not even educational qualifications. All simple restriction is 35. All the simple restriction is 35 years of age and you should be a citizen of India. Why citizen of India? Because this constitution is for citizen of India. So you should be a citizen of India. So on this note, I will start one simple topic. You'll understand it better. So let's do like this. Sir, have you seen head of the state? I will draw a graph. Okay. This graph starts like this. This is common era, zero common era. This is 1947. And this is 1000 years before common era, BCE. So who was the head of the state in this frame group? King was the head of the state, right? King was the head of the state. So there are qualifications for kings. Yes. What was the qualification for the king being a head of the state? The king's qualification was so simple that he should be born as a Kshatriya, or he should be son of a king, right? He should be son of a king. So did that continue? Yes, it continued. So there was a basic qualification, that is religion, caste, birth. Yes. So which was not under the control of you. This birth, caste, religion, which was not under the control of you, that was the qualification to become a king or to become the head, right? But what happens later? So 1950, we come out with a constitution. Now head of the state. Do I need religion, caste, and birth? No. No, right? So that means what happens? Anybody can become head of the state with irrespective of their birth. That means, isn't it a republic? So when I'm talking about all the articles of, if I'm talking about all the articles of president, isn't that showing republic? Isn't that showing republic? So what is the background for the president? When you're reading president articles, oh, my president is republic, right? Okay. Now, decisions taken by the president, all the decisions, all the executive parts from 52, so whatever you start with the president, won't that give a background of sovereign? Is he independent in taking decision? Either he or council of minister, aren't they independent? Are they dependent on British, USA, UK, or anybody? No. Sovereignty is there, right? Okay. Then let's come for next one. So we understood republic nature. Next one I'll start is, now you people, all of us, okay, we are becoming IAS officers. All of us, we are becoming IAS officers. How can we become IAS officers? We write an exam conducted by UPSC, clear that, will become IAS officer. So simple. But what happens now? Check this. Things change here. But you want to become a president, is it like that? No. You can never become a president like that. How can I become president? Through elections. That means more number of people should select me, right? Through elections only can I become president. Let it be direct or indirect. Isn't that is the basic concept of democracy? So when next time when you read your president article, isn't the background is preamble, which is showing democratic republic sovereign? Okay, I'll add one more thing. So let's start another concept. Now, anybody can become president, equality is shown. Okay, when president taking decisions, should he have guidelines? And those guidelines are again equality, justice concept, which is shown in your preamble. So when you see the duties of president or powers of presidents, all those things, won't you see that background? All the background for this is your preamble. Understanding? Clear? So This is this basic concept. First thing, you have understood preamble, right? Preamble, how preamble should be read. Okay, now I'll go for the next framework. We have understood why preamble is there, how preamble should be studied. So next starts is very important thing is what we would start with. We would start next is what are articles, what are parts, what are schedules. Clear? What are articles, what are parts, what are schedules? So first, in my constitution, can I find this? We have parts. What are these parts? So I'll give you a logic behind these parts. So first I made a constitution. So I've given a preamble. After making a constitution, should I give a framework for this? Yes. Should I give a framework for this? Yes. What is that framework I'll give? First I should tell for which territory this constitution should belong, right? That's why in my part 1, what do I have? In my part 1, what do I have? In my part 1, I have state, right? State and its administrative division. Administrative division. State and its administrative divisions will be there. That's what is your Article 1. What does it say? India, which is Bharat, is comprising of union of states, right? So it is showing state and its administrative division, right? So Article 1 talks like this. So now we have understood what is state. So part 1 talks about state. Part 2, what does part 2 talk about? Part 2 talks about who the state comprises of. Who the state comprises of. Alva? So it says, okay, there is a state and this state is comprising of who? So it says this state is comprising of citizens who are in the boundary of the state. So we know citizens are there. So who gets this citizenship? Who gets this citizenship? So anybody who is born, who could get naturalized. So it shows ways of getting citizenship in part 2. Now constitution has the territory to who this constitution belongs to. Next, same constitution has for who this constitution is made for. We got territory of the constitution for who this constitution is made for, right? Now I have made a constitution. What is next? Okay, the citizens who are part of this territory, they need few rights, few freedoms. In those rights and freedoms are supposed to be given by state. Supposed to be given by states. So in that, state will say there are 2 types of rights. Right number 1, which is obligation for state to give, and right number 2, it is optional. So what would constitution next, after defining citizens, it says that citizens will be given 2 types of rights. One is obligation on state to provide these rights. and freedom. And second thing, it's an optional for states to provide these rights and freedom. Rights and freedom. Right? Understanding? So we call those obligatory rights which state has to provide. State has to provide that as fundamental rights. State should give it to you. So those optional rights which state can provide or not provide, we call it them as DPSP, Directive Principles of State Policy. Clear? Clear? Now let's go further. We have understood, we have got a state, we have got citizens, got state, got citizen, and we have got two types of rights for citizen. One is obligation on state, another one is optional for state to give these rights for the citizens, right? So now when it is like this, I'll ask one more thing. How can I make obligation on state? How can I make it obligation? Yeah, state, you're supposed to give these rights to people. Yeah, state, you're supposed to give these these objectives for the people, these things you're supposed to give. How can I make it? So I can make it by telling that if they fail to give it, I can punish them, right? If they fail to give it, I can punish them. I can go in search of justice, right? So that's why I make them obligation on the state. So who would punish them? Who would give me justice now? So for that, we should come out with another organization. So that's where we come out with judiciary. So judiciary will take care. This fundamental rights are violated by the state. Judiciary will take care of it, right? So that's why these obligations, I make it justiciable. Clear? Okay, now optional things. Let me come for optional things. What happens with the optional things? Optional things have little different. In optional things, state won't have all the resources to provide them. So what states will do is, when you get the resources, then you provide them. Yes, when you get resources, then you provide them. So that means when I'm doing optional, I can't make state punishable if they won't give it. Correct? If they won't give it, won't it be, I can't make it that, right? So what I made this non-justiciable rights. I call these non-justiciable rights as DPSP. Here, where we started that we will have one simple concept. We'll have a state. That state has a territory, and that state's territory are divided into parts so that administration can happen. So after dividing that state into parts, so I should tell who belongs to this state or this territory. I should tell after making them they belong to this state and territory. Next thing I should give how they acquire the citizenship. After giving how they acquired the citizenship, I should guarantee them few things, rights. One, I'll give you obligation. So who should guarantee you this, right? There is a concept called state or a government. They are there. It's their obligation to guarantee you few rights as a citizen. So what are those obligatory rights which they are giving? Those are called fundamental rights. Next thing is they should even give you optional rights or non-justiciable rights. We call them DPSP. So isn't that when we see these parts how they are arranged, isn't that a wonderful way of arrangement? Isn't there is a wonderful way of arrangement? Yes, this way of arrangement is so cool. Next, what happens after giving you rights? They would start defining who gives you rights. Who is the person who gives you rights? First, who gives you rights? How he gives you rights? What if there is a violation? What if there is a violation? Right? I should tell who gives you right, how he gives right. What if there is a violation? Then I should even tell how this rights supposed to be given. Right? So now who gives the rights? That's what is your next part. Executive. Yes. So that's where it starts with first person is president. So we'll tell, okay, president is this. Or can I put it as a complete parliament? First, I'll give complete parliament. Okay, this complete parliament is there. That would give these rights and these regulations. They have right to make rules for you. So complete parliament will do that, right? Now this complete parliament is doing this. Now, should I select? What should I do now? How will these people be selected? How they should make rules? Or how they should make laws? Those things should I define? Yes, I should define them. That's what is your other articles. Now, when you are reading Parliament, what is Parliament chapter of your Lakshmikant or your polity? You'll be reading Constitution. You should always have this background that whatever the rules and regulations are given here, I should follow them. So, don't I have election of president? Don't I have powers of president in Constitution? Don't I have election of parliamentarians or MPs? Don't I have the powers of the parliamentarians and MPs? Yes, isn't that a complete cycle? So now, after how are these powers? These powers should not harm fundamental rights. What are the regulations for them so that they should not harm fundamental rights? What are the guidelines for them? The guidelines are there in DPSP. So this parliament makes laws on this basis. So now there should not be any misunderstanding, chaos, or problem in making laws. So what should I do now? What should I do now? So I should define lawmaking process, right? I should define lawmaking process. How would I define lawmaking process? I will simply tell, okay, you start like this. So we will have in a year 3 sessions that will be in Parliament. So these sessions will have a timing, and this session will be taken care by a person called chairperson or a speaker. So he will regulate. So who will call this thing? President will call this session. So in this session, what you will do, we will pass bills. What type of bills are there? We have types of bills. We will pass all 3 types of bills. When I'm passing these 3 types of bills, what is the procedure I should follow? The so and so procedure: simple majority, special majority. So procedures I should follow, right? So what would be there further in my constitution is this itself, right? This itself is right. But what am I doing? What am I doing? I had mentioned one more concept in my preamble. What is it? Federal. Why federal? Because administration should be easier. So I had mentioned federal, so that administration should be easy administration, because one person can't rule, or one small institution called parliament can't make rules and regulations for full country. We need to decentralize them, right? So what we do under this is, so we have mentioned federal there in my preamble. When I mentioned federal in my preamble, shouldn't I start with this concept? Topic number 1. Now I'll introduce a concept called schedule. So what is schedule for you? What is schedule for you? So I'll tell you, Article 1 is that. Article 1 says that India, that is Bharat, made up of Arunachal Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Manipur, Delhi, Karnataka, like this. Should I mention all the 29 states and all the 7 or now 8 union territories? No, right? I should not do that. My article looks horrible. So what I will do is, instead of that, I'll write Article 1, India, Union of States. Union of States. So I'll put a bracket 1 here. So this 1 will tell me that I have opened a new column to define the concept of state. I've opened a new column to define the concept of state. That new column will include states and UTs, so that I can put states here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the states and UTs. So next time, whenever I want to change anything in my Article 1, no need to change complete article, so that I can only change the schedule part. So schedule is such a simple thing that you can't fit all the information in one article. So what I do, I will make a separate place and I will fill all the information there. Yes, it is an extension of an article. Schedule is an extension of an article. So after defining the powers of the central government, what we do, we have told our constitution or our India as a federal structure. So what should I define as now? Define as state. So after Article 123 or after Article 140, I will start defining state. So now again I'll tell, there will be state, and state will have head called governor, and this governor will have council of ministers, and this council of ministers will rule state which they belong to, right? So now, how these two peoples are ruling? There is president, council of minister, they rule the center or full India. So there is governor. Now, will there be any harmony in this rule? No. Harmony is tough. So I should come out with the guidelines how they should rule. Yes. How will I do division? I will do division. What I'll do division of power. How is that? I have mentioned that in schedule 7. Schedule 7, which says that there will be three lists: central list, state list, and there will be central list, state list, and concurrent list. So that means in central list, if I do in central list, center will have powers to do laws, to do administration, right? In state list, state will have power to do laws and administration, right? In central list, central will have, so that there is no conflict, there is no clashes, there is no clash, or there is no conflict. So when it is like this, now am I putting that in harmony? So isn't this is also a very basic feature of my constitution? Isn't this should also be part of the constitution? Isn't this also should be the part of the constitution? Now I will divide their powers: administrative powers. Then I will divide their powers into administrative powers, then economic powers, legislative powers. Yes. So this is the next part. I have given a framework of state. After giving the framework of state, I am making sure for the smooth functioning of my federalism, I would divide these things. Here. Next, what happens? After this, things would change. Now I have complete framework. I have India. I have citizens. Then I have rights for my citizens. Then I have institutions which give him rights. Central government I've got, and working of central government. Then I have state government, working of state government. Right now, on this notion, this is going on well, but there are emergency situations. Yes, emergency situations, and there should be another concept. What if I need to change? My people are changing, my society, my civilization is improving. That means there should be changes made in this complete framework, like my fundamental rights should be included or should be excluded, more fundamental rights should be added, some fundamental. So what I'll do, I will start amending, so that I can change my institution whenever I want. Next, after that, there should be some facilitating institutions, right? There should be some facilitating institutions which facilitate me. So what are those facilitating institutions? CAG, Election Commission, right? We should have National Commission for SC/ST, Attorney General. So we should have all these facilitating institutions so that my administration runs smooth. My administration runs smooth, right? So now can you imagine? Isn't all these things are the part of your constitution? Your constitution is made up of all these things only, right? Take it from the beginning till now. My constitution is holistically made up of these things: state, citizens, rights for the citizens, who are giving the rights, how these rights are going on. So this is the complete concept of this constitution. So we have understood what is this constitution, how this constitution is, what this constitution is comprised of. Understanding what this constitution is comprised of. Clear? Clear? Any doubts till now? Any doubts till now? So this will be today's introduction. Tomorrow again, what we would do is I will explain you the background of constitution, like what did it take to make a constitution. So how this constitution came into picture, what was the background for this constitution, how this constitution makers were doing it, why we had to have a constitution like that, what are the principles of these. So tomorrow again I will teach you about these things. Clear? Any doubts till now? Any doubts till now? You can ping me on the conversation box. Please feel free to so anybody has doubt also, I'll enable doubt clearing thing. You can request for 10 minutes. If any one of you, what you could do, you could ping me if you have any doubts. You can switch on your audio so that you can ask me doubts. So I'll clarify your doubts for 5 minutes. Recorded class will be available. Yes, Dakshin. So if you have any other problems also, which platform, I will inform you as soon as I get this recording. I will inform you which platform the recording things will be there. Yeah. So any other doubts? So was it any problem in these things? You can ping me in WhatsApp telling your grievances, sir, it didn't work out like this and all anything. Okay. So if there are no further doubts, or if you have any further doubts, you can so if any problems are there, you can ping me on our group. So connection problems where the clarity was not there, so that we can rectify on these things. Okay, we can rectify on these things. Clear? So let's meet. So let's meet again tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll be teaching you about the background of the constitution. So we'll understand there. By tomorrow we'll rectify all the problems in the recording or in the whatever, in the streaming or everything, so that we can have a healthy streaming. Clear? Okay, thank you, Karthik sir. So thank you very much. Tomorrow I will again we will start this session. Thank you very much.